And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have this Korean side dish typically served with Korean barbecue called Banchan, made with eggplant. Now before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that we have an affiliate link with Chef's Temp. If you need a kitchen thermometer or meat probe, please check out the link in the description below and use code LOVEYOURFOOD on checkout for 15% off your order. I'd also like to thank our patrons over on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. In the meantime, here's our ingredients. So we've got some eggplant, some sesame oil, some fish sauce, some soy sauce, some green onions, some gochujang, some white and black sesame seeds, and some garlic. Now we're going to start by toasting our sesame seeds. So these are white and black sesame seeds. We're just going to put those in the toaster oven and let them get nice and toasty. And then we're going to do some chopping on our eggplant here. So we're going to cut the ends off. And then we're going to cut them into sections. And then once they're cut, we're just going to stand those up to keep them from rolling around. Now we're going to be steaming these first, and then we want them to cool down to at least room temperature or, cool enough that we can use them. The really big pieces, we're going to cut those in half, so they just take the same amount of time as the smaller pieces. You want them all roughly the same size. So we're going to toss these in the steamer. Now we're not going to season these yet. We're going to be making the sauce for them. Make sure you break the bits apart if they're stuck together. And we're just going to put those into the steamer. All the cooking times and amounts are going to be in the description below. And then we're going to start doing the rest of our mise en place for the sauce. So the first things first, we're going to chop our green onions. And we want to chop them pretty finely. We don't want them to be big chunks or anything. If you want, you can do these in the long, skinny way. You can make them into, little threads, as we've done in recipes in the past. You should check out the recipe for the Korean japchae. And then again, for our garlic, we're just going to chop this pretty finely. So we're going to slice it first, and then come back and chop it lengthwise. And then we're just going to basically chop it as small as we can get it. Really just a finely minced garlic slice here. And get that as small as you can. So that's going to go into the bowl along with the green onions. And then our liquid ingredients. So we're going to add our sesame oil. We're also going to add in the Korean chili flakes. That's the gochujang. That's the spicy Korean spice mix. And in goes our fish sauce and some soy sauce. And this is going to make the flavor base for the entire recipe. So we're just going to mix that all together nicely. And then once that's well combined, we're going to wait. It can sit for a while now that it's mixed. We're going to take all of our now nicely steamed eggplant out of the steamer. And we want this to cool down, just cool enough that we can handle it. So a room temperature or a little above, because the next step is actually to rip it into slices, rip it into sort of strips. And the easiest way to do this is, of course, to rip the skin, and it actually comes apart really, really easily into the fibers are sort of lengthwise, so they come apart really nicely. And you want these in pretty bite-sized pieces, honestly. You don't want them to be huge. You don't want them to be tiny, so this is why we've cut them as we have, and we just tore them apart into those pieces. Then we're going to get them all nicely coated with our sauce here, and we're going to add in our sesame seeds. Now we're just going to give these a gentle little crunch before we do that. We've got our mortar and pestle here. And we're just going to crunch these up a little bit. We just want to split them. We don't want to make a paste out of them or anything. So don't go too far. You just want to make sure they're broken up into smaller pieces. And in those go as well. And then once this is all well combined, we just want this to sit for a little while so all the flavors mingle. You can even make this the day before, which is pretty ideal. But even just a few hours before you're ready to eat it is great because, all those flavors mingle and the sauce has a chance to sort of permeate the eggplant. And there you go. That's what it looks like. It's got all those nice flavors mixed in there. And when you're ready to serve, what we did was we just put it all into a large bowl in the middle of the table with a serving spoon, and that works just fine for a Korean tabletop barbecue. Or honestly, it's a really great side for any number of things. It goes really well with roasted meat. You can use this as just sort of a general side. We garnished it with a little bit of fresh basil from our garden, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Really, really delicious. Keeps well in the fridge for about a week. We really hope you'll give this one a try. It's really simple and absolutely delicious. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank our patrons over on Patreon. We'll put a link for that in the description below if you'd like to support us there. And remember to love your food.